Alright, back again doing another video. Today we're going to be doing Borski's Zima, specifically the green Zima, which is probably the color that you see this in most, but you can definitely tie it in other colors. I mean, we got one that I tied here in tan, put some eyes on it. You know, traditionally they don't come with the eyes, but, you know, great tarpon fly. You know, definitely gives a real nice shrimpy profile there, and you know, you could even tie this, I mean, put it on a much lighter hook and throw it at a redfish or snook or whatever lead or shrimp, really. So, let's get started. We have a Ahrex SA, I believe this is 280 size 2 here in the vise. Some Daniville 140 denier. And we're going to start right here at the point of the hook and just work our way back. We're going to stop right before the bend. So first thing we're going to do is grab ourselves some chartreuse craft fur. You can find this craft fur on our site. Very, very cheaply priced on the site there if you guys are looking for craft fur. I mean, great stuff. So I've already got a section here that I cut off and picked out the under fur and kind of tapered off just by picking out some of these long ends. So we're going to go ahead and kind of measure how much we need here. You want this fly total to be about 3, maybe 3.5 inches. You can make it bigger or smaller depending on your preference. I really wouldn't go any bigger than maybe 3.5 inches. But if you were throwing this, maybe, you know, you put on a smaller hook for docklight snook or redfish or something, you could definitely go down to say 2.5 inches, 2-inch fly, and you know, it would be great in those sizes as well. So I kind of cut my butt ends here off. We're just going to attach this right here on the back of the hook. A couple loose wraps just to kind of get it where I want it. And then we'll get some tight wraps just to secure that craft fur on there. Alright. You can see if you just tie the craft fur kind of straight on, like it doesn't look super great, so you may have to roll it with your fingers just to kind of get it on top of the hook a little bit. And then I like to just throw a couple wraps under it. You may even have to throw a little wraps kind of around it to kind of get it to just stand up slightly. You don't want it standing like way up here, but just kind of off the back a little bit. Just get, you know, 1 wrap, maybe 2 wraps right there at the base, just to get it slightly to stand up. Alrighty, I mean, it doesn't look like much of a fly, but it ends up looking much better in a minute. We're going to go ahead and take a Copic marker here. This one's in copper, and we're going to go ahead and add some barring to this fly. You can add as big a bars, small bars as you want. You can put as many as you want or as few as you want. I mean, just kind of give it that shrimpy look to it. I mean, really all the bars are doing is just kind of providing segments. Oh, that's probably enough. Make sure we got good coverage. Alright. So now we're going to add just a couple strands of crystal flash. The original pattern for this I don't believe calls for any crystal flash at all, but like just a couple little strands in there. We're going to take 2 strands, double them over, and then just right on top of our craft fur. Again, nothing crazy. You don't want tons of flash on this fly, but having just a little bit is going to help. Now for a collar, we're going to go ahead and add a hackle. We have some brown grizzly hackle here. I'm going to pick out a pretty webby feather because we're going to be palmering this around the hook here. Oh, we got a pretty webby looking feather. pluck out just a little bit of this more fluffy stuff here in the back. We're going to start by tying this in on the back, right over our craft fur tie-in point, and just secure it right on the front here. We'll just move our thread out of the way. You're just going to palmer this forward. We'll grab our hackle pliers. Make sure our feather is nice and straight. And we'll just start palmering. The reason I like a more webby feather is I believe these are meant more to be legs of a shrimp on what they're doing here with the collar. So I kind of like the look of it having like all these legs coming off the bottom here, since the top's going to get a little bit covered up with our last step. Oh, my feather turned around the other way on me. That's alright. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to use our whole feather here, just cover up as much as we can of our tie-in point. And if you don't have grizzly feathers, I mean, it's not necessary. Just a regular brown feather, or even this color combo, a tan feather, would work just fine. And if you wanted the whole thing to be chartreuse, you could make it a chartreuse feather, I guess, too. We're going to wrap back on our feather just a little bit, get them to kind of lay back over our tie-in point. And there we go. That's starting to look like a tarpon fly now, right? Now you could probably honestly throw this at a tarpon and get them to eat it if you really wanted it, to not waste too much more time. So I'm going to take an unnecessary step here just because I am a sucker for crustacean eyes, and I'm going to throw some crustacean eyes on this. This is not part of the original pattern, but I definitely like having eyes on my flies. It just makes me feel better. So I'm going to kind of figure out how much I need here. I'm going to take my pliers, I'm going to mash down right at that point, and I'm going to bend my eyes at a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to mash down just a little bit more. Keep bending right at that 90-degree point. So now my eyes kind of look something like that. And it's going to give me the same distance on both eyes, so I have them at the same length. But also it's going to let me splay my eyes out when I tie them in. So right where that crease is, that's right where we're going to start the tie-in on the fly. Work forward just a little bit. Mashing those eyes down helps make it so the mono won't roll on you, and also gives you a much stronger tie-in point so these eyes won't ever pull out. Let's get this other one here on the other side. And we can cut away our excess. Just to help our eye splay just a little bit more, we'll give a couple wraps on the insides of each eye. Doing our best not to trap any of our feather fibers there. Alright. That looks good. So as you can see, I mean, those eyes are pretty much the exact same distance. I mean, pretty happy with that result there. So, let's do a couple wraps here in front. And now we'll finish off with another piece of craft fur. Let me see, we've already picked this piece out as well. This is going to be a much smaller, thinner piece of craft fur that more represents kind of the horn on a shrimp, or kind of makes almost that shrimpy head look. So it's going to go right over the top here. You want to measure it out so that it's It's a little bit shorter than your first tie-in point here. So you can see this is probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch shorter than what our first tie-in point was. Now that we got that spot marked, we'll cut our butt sections off. And we'll tie that in. Go ahead and we'll kind of build ourselves a little head here just so this looks super neat. Alright, looks pretty good. Now we can go ahead and whip finish. We'll take our lighter and just kind of slowly hit this just to melt the wax slightly. And as always, a little bit of loon flow just to protect our wraps. Just a little light coating of loon flow all around our wraps. Watch out, some of this craft fur sometimes gets caught in that loon, but we can always cut that out here in a second. Hitting it with our light just to make sure that cures. And that's it. That's the Borski Zima, or Zema, I guess. Sorry. Yeah, great shrimpy looking fly there. Like I said, great on tarpon. Nice light fly. Should work on tarpon pretty much anywhere. And yeah, if you want to throw it at a snook or redfish, I'd probably just change the hook up to something lighter. You know, or even, you know, stick with the same hook. Just throw it in like a, you know, maybe a size 1 or something, and yeah, throw it at redfish, throw it at snook, throw it at, you know, whatever you want on the flats. You know, anything that eats shrimp should eat this pattern. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you wouldn't mind, give the channel a like, or give the channel a subscribe, give the video a like, you know, comment you guys have any questions, or if there's patterns or anything like that you want to see. You know, we always appreciate the comments. So thanks for watching, and hope you guys enjoyed it.